Let's go to Natasha in Mountain Home. Dude, what a cool town. Hey, what's up, Natasha?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
That's cool. I like Mountain Home. Mountain Home. That's like, never mind. I'm going to get off. I'm going to get distracted. We've had some meetings recently where we've talked about my distraction level. So I'm trying to stay focused. So Natasha from Mountain Home, what's up?
Well, I just wanted some tips, I guess, on how to successfully transition from a parent who uses spanking as a discipline method, to a more gentle parenting method. But also, I feel like we've kind of set the bar, and I don't really know how do we go back from here.
Oh man! So what got you rethinking your approach to discipline? What got you rethinking it?
I've heard you talk about it before, and I've seen, some of the research about it, and I've been interested in it, and I try, really hard to be as patient and just implement the gentle discipline, in our house. But I feel like I said, we've got the ball rolling on, using spanking already, and I don't know how do we go back?
Yeah. So, man, number one, I applaud you for anytime any parent makes any kind of changes, whether it's this one or doing anything differently midstream. That's hard, right? We've created a context that our kids, that's what they know. And so doing anything differently, like, man, all we eat is Lucky Charms around here. And then all of a sudden you think like, nope, we're switching to oatmeal. Then you're going to have a rebellion there for a little bit, right? Like a mutiny.
Yeah.
All right. So I want you to take the word gentle out of your vocabulary. Not gentle isn't what we're aiming for. Okay.
Okay.
I want you to think of we are with, not over. That's the transition we're making. Okay. I am no longer going to try to get you to do things because I've got bigger muscles than you.
Right.
I'm going to walk alongside you as I teach you and coach you and instruct you and hold you incredibly accountable, right? Which includes punishment. That includes consequences. I'm going to walk alongside you as we help you grow up to be an adult, right? So here's what I would recommend. The cornerstone of any sort of discipline, if you will, any sort of co-responsibility is ownership. The kid has to feel like they are participating in something bigger than they are. Otherwise, they are an actor in your play. They hold no responsibility other than watch out for swinging fists and sticks. Okay?
Right.
And they will, and you probably know all this, but I want to the people who are listening, I want to paint a broader picture. That might mean that they go get straight A's and they're silent and they're quiet and they sit still. They can do that because they're part of a family ecosystem that breathes and that breathes together and leans on one another. Or they can do it to avoid getting hit.
Right.
Right. And I want a kid who, when they're 22, knows I do these things because that's how a neighborhood operates. That's how my community operates. I play a vital role in making sure that my country and my neighborhood and my family is doing well, is healthy, right? Not, I want to do these things so I can avoid fill in the blank, because that leads to all kind of things downstream. So here's what I would suggest. Probably heard me say this before, but this is a good time to reiterate it. Let's say your family is the Smiths. I would love to see the Smith family get together and have a big event. Plan it up, bake a cake, make it a big thing. I want your kids to know. How old's your kid?
He's 7.
7. You have any other kids?
Yeah, we have a 2-year-old as well.
Okay, bring him along and let the 7-year-old know that his responsibility is helping the 2-year-old participate. Right. So now he's got he's got a job here, right? He's vested. And we're going to create we're going to go to like Michael's. We're going to go to a hardware store. We're going to get a piece of plywood. We're going to get some fancy artsy thing. I don't know. I've seen some on the internet people have sent me, and some of them are beautiful. The one we did in our house isn't that fancy because I'm not that artistic. And my wife is much more than me, but we didn't go that route. But we're going to create a set of, here's who the Smith family is, values. Okay. That will be, you may have some fun with it. You're going to have a piece of cake. You're going to laugh. You're going to have a nice dinner together. Is Dad around?
He is, but we are actually in the process of separating.
Okay. All right. So there's going to be a lot of additional chaos in your home, right? Your 7-year-old is going to be additionally untethered in certain ways. So this can be one of those steps towards, it's not going to be the solution. It's going to be one of the steps towards keeping him anchored during this separation, which is going to be, it's going to be tough on him, right?
Right.
So here's who the Smiths are. We treat people with respect. We are kind. We turn the TV off at the first, whatever the thing is. We listen to one another. We do chores together, whatever the language that's appropriate for the age. And then the transition is this. When you ask your son to do something, like, hey, go pick up your socks, and he mouths off, it is now not you choosing to hit him or you choosing to kick him out of the house. You, the heartbroken parent, are accepting his choice to no longer be in the room for the next 10 minutes. You've accepted his choice to not go to the birthday party this weekend. You've accepted his decision because he chose to violate the values. He got to choose not to fill in the blank with whatever consequences y'all decide. It does help if you participate some in these consequences. Okay, so if you have ice cream or something at dinner and one of them is we talk with respect and you yell one day and give him permission to go, right? And you go, oh, no ice cream for Mom tonight. I chose to not have ice cream because I chose to yell, right? Let him see that it's not you versus him, that y'all are in this together. And this isn't a cure-all, but this becomes an anchor point. Also, if you feel strongly about, hey, I don't want to hit my kid, it's not a bad thing to let your kid know, I'm going to start doing things differently now.
Right.
And,
I mean,
be open about that.
I have tried that with him before, and, like doing like you said, and, letting him know that, okay, well, I'm sorry that you chose this, and then it's more fun when you're out here with us and when you can play with us, and we all have more fun when you're here. But he seems to be completely unfazed. Like, if you, tell him no dessert with dinner, he's like, oh, okay, well, no dessert. Or if you tell him he can't play with his Legos, oh, well, I'll just twiddle my thumbs. Or, he seems so unfazed by everything. There's always, some sort of something else he can do instead.
And so there's twofold to that. Number one, good for him. He's that's leadership, man. He is learning. I'll trade that for that. It's fair.
Yeah.
And if it's something of consequence, right? So we're seeing it play out on the global scale. We said, if you country X are going to bomb this country, then you'll have no more money. We're going to take all your money. And they go, that's cool. We'll keep bombing. And then it's like, well, okay, then, so at some point, if it's something that we care about, like loss of life, you're going to keep up in the ante, right? I will find something. My mom talks about, she locked me in the house. Like, I got grounded to my room. That was hell for me. It was torture. My little brother, on the other hand, had to go outside because he liked reading. He was great with computer programming. He was that kid. And so she had to approach it differently for both of us, but finding things that were of meaning and of value to us.
Right.
And so that's the navigation of the parent. But if a kid decides to ride it out, then the kid's riding it out. And that means we got to up the accountability a little bit. And also, let's high five your kid. That's kind of cool too, right? Let's not
It's so frustrating because I love it, but I hate it at the same time.
There you go. Yes. It's like when my kid tells a joke and I'm like, you can't say that, but that's really funny. You know what I mean? Yes, it's like that. Some of that is your kid leaning on you, especially in this season. My guess is if y'all are getting separated now, if things been tough for a season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So has there been any abuse in the home or anything like that?
No abuse or anything. We just can't manage to get along.
What about volume? Been yelling and things?
Yeah, there has been.
Okay. So in some regard, your kid is going to double down. Your kid's going to be willing to take a few lumps. It's going to bite himself in the foot to see if you're going to hang on to him.
Yeah.
is he going to lose you too? And some of that is making sure he not only hears you say, but sees, you will never lose me.
Right.
And it may be that timeouts or opting out or something like that isn't the appropriate response for this season. In fact, it may be the opposite. Fine then. If you talk like that, you got to give me a hug for 5 minutes. An unstopping 5-minute hug. You got to help mom with her laundry. That's what you chose to do. You know what I mean? I'm gonna bring you even closer to me. You have to go draw a picture in this book about how great mommy is, right? I'm gonna do things that are gonna bring us closer together than the opposite. But the goal here, the overarching thing is this: I want my child to have ownership in their choices. I'm gonna teach them about choices, and let's not forget that they're 7. Or they're 9, or they're 12. They're not going to do this perfectly. And they will call our bluff over and over and over and over again. And that's the worst part of being. My mom used to say, I promise you, grounding you hurts me more than you, because I can't just leave now because you're stuck in the house. Like, it's worse for me than you. And sometimes when we are trying to teach our kids accountability, we're trying to teach them hard work and respect and dignity, all those important things, man, we take it on the chin by holding them accountable. That's the hard, dirty work of being a parent. And man, your kid is lucky to have you, Natasha. Be really graceful with him during this transition. It's going to be hard. He's going to test every boundary he's got to see if mom's going to leave, to see if there's something he can do that you're going to say, well, we just can't get along either, I guess. Or that dad's going to say, well, you and I, son, we just can't get along, so we're done. He's going to really need some extra attention. And I would be direct with your husband about, as we separate here, if there's no path for reconciliation, as we separate here, where both of us are going to be grown-ups about doubling down and making sure that this little boy, this little baby, this little 2-year-old are hyper connected. Otherwise, they will take this separation on as their problem to solve, and they'll be about solving it for the rest of their life.
Hey, I have a quick question to jump in with.
Yeah.
So this makes sense with a 7-year-old. As far as younger kids, like I have a 3-year-old, when you talk about the idea of them understanding that it's their choice, that they made this choice and they're dealing with the consequences, it feels like that's going to be hard for a 2-year-old or 3-year-old to understand. So what does that look like for a younger kid? Yeah,
sometimes, so James, thanks for that. Natasha, thank you so much for that call. James, so with a 2 or 3-year-old, unfortunately, it takes a lot of parent mobility, meaning I'm going to get up and move you to this place, right? You may not be able to walk away, or sometimes it is, I will not allow you to hit, right? So sometimes we'll tell a kid, I'm going to be more imposing on my will, if you will. A separation for a 3-year-old is saying the words out loud. When you hit, you chose to go sit over here and not play. I'm not putting you in another room. That's torture for a 3-year-old or a 2-year-old. But I will put you over here, and that may mean I have to keep picking you up and putting you back over here. And we're going to do the minute per year, right? You've heard that. You'll be in this corner for 3 minutes and seeing us. And then the first thing, I'm going to meet you back there with hugs. I'm going to make sure you know you're connected. Please don't hit. Please don't choose to go over here. I'm going to continue to reiterate that language. But you're right. 2-year-old doesn't know that. Where we fall into is we whap a 2-year-old or we swat a 3-year-old, and they don't understand that either. And so it's that physical presence. But some of that with a 3-year-old is, unfortunately, I got bigger muscles than you. I will not allow you to hit, right? And I will move your body. Once they get to 4, 5, 6, 7, then they start taking ownership of that. I say to my 6-year-old often, please talk to me about why you're choosing this response here. And if she can't articulate it, she'll duck her head and then begin to smile like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And so I want her to begin to take ownership. But again, she's 6, 7, 5. There's a reason we don't let them vote.